Hello, welcome to my podcast, What I Find Funny. My name is Deb Sherritt, and I am so happy you've joined on an exploration of the funny kind of experiences I've had in my almost 59 years. I chose to do this podcast because when funny things happen, it could be a great experience that brings a chuckle remembering it later, or it could go completely another way, leaving you with one question. Wasn't that funny? In which case, you're probably not reliving that story as fondly, but maybe with more stress. Will you see what I mean? Funny is so complex and diverse these days, I think it needs exploration. On today's episode, it's all about notoriety. You know, when you're well known within your workplace, community, or perhaps even on a grander scale, it can take a very long time to gain notoriety, or it can simply take a few walks with a small 7-pound cream-colored rescue dog named Carlos for people to start noticing. Well, perhaps some background is in order. We've lived in our neighborhood for 27 years. We've raised 2 girls who went to the nearest elementary school with many of the same children from our neighborhood, so over the many years, you get to know who your neighbors are, right? Wrong. I mean, we knew their names, maybe, and smiled at them on the street, but we pretty much kept to ourselves, except for the 2 homes across the street and the people next to us on the right. These neighbors we know fairly well, but even still, we don't socialize with them. I'm not sure how much people actually know about us, but these neighbors know that I'm an author and I have a podcast. Some of them are aware I've done theater, but for the most part, and even though these things may put you in the public eye, my notoriety has remained within 75 feet of my house. 7 weeks ago, we adopted a rescue dog. His name was Garth, but the shelter gave him that name, and we soon found out that he was very, very super chill and very cool. He was a real little dude, and so I decided he was going to be called Carlos Santana. Now, you know, with rescues, you never know what you're getting, and after 7 weeks of him living with us, I realized actually I should have named him Parker, as in Nosy Parker. This little guy may only be 8 inches off the ground, and he's fully grown, but he will nose his way into any interaction, conversation, or person engaging in something he's not involved with, like no infiltrating wedge I've ever known. But his name remains Carlos, and he really does suit it. And I think it's not only his name, but also his laid-back personality that has people talking. Within the first few days of getting him, Honey Bunch and I were out walking him around the neighborhood, enjoying finally having another dog to love and enjoy. We were told he was skittish with people, so we took that seriously and did proper introductions with just a few people and their dogs. Well, by the 3rd week of him living with us, people were calling out his name as we'd walk past their house, even from the kitchen window. I'd taken him on the majority of the walking by that time, and when Honey Bunch joined me one afternoon, he was shocked to find out how many people had called out to him, some having only ever heard of him, but hadn't met him yet. One lady commented how adorable he is, and he really is, and I thanked her. And as we walked along, I said, "Come on, Carlos, let's get going." And she called back, "Is that Carlos Santana? My mother was telling us all about him." She then got up from her lawn chair and came over for a proper chat and eventually a cuddle. Even our vet has put his full name, Carlos Santana, on his flea and tick meds. It just goes to show you that notoriety and fame can be a very fickle thing. You can live almost half your life in the same neighborhood and try to get your name out there with any kind of creative project that inspires you and brings you passion, but a dog named Carlos Santana can become a star in a matter of weeks. I think his tagline should be, "Carlos Santana, he plays a mean rough." That's what I find funny. I swear I'm going to make him an Instagram star. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of What I Find Funny. You can always follow me and look for new episodes every Monday morning. Also, as the last name says, share it with your family and friends. This podcast can be found on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, and all other podcast streaming services except for Apple. No Apple ID means no Apple account. Sorry, Apple, I apologize. I hope you have a wonderful day, and remember to find funny where you can, and take care.